Alright guys, time to do some Arabia.
I literally just finished this game. So, this is me. I don't know. Half hour ago? Maybe a little more. Playing as the Malians. So my opponent is Sal. Online here, just another unranked game. They're playing as the Poles. So I just watched Hera do really well with the Poles since they got a recent buff from 8% return on their farms for food to 10%. Um, and he did some amazing scout rushes with that, or scout play. And so I was thinking that that might happen here a bit. Just kind of got ready for it, but we'll see how this turns out. I've been learning a little bit about Polish history too. The Siege of Vienna in 1683, the Winged Hussars arrived. Look up that song; it's a fun one. And that recently Poland made Christ their king, which is cool. Like as a nation, Jesus Christ is declared their king. Pretty amazing. We're trying this normal speed this time. It'll be the first time I did that because the action, as I recall, does start pretty quick here. I've been losing quite a bit as the Malians, so this is me giving it a shot again as I realized I just needed help getting more gold. I was losing to a lot of gold units and people gathering gold more quickly. But not super memorable games. One that I had won recently was just kind of fending off an archer rush and keeping my villagers alive, which practice did come in handy. Malians I chose for that extra gold help because their villagers drop off 10% more gold, which is really nice. Their buildings also cost 15% less wood. So I think my plan hopefully was to get some assistance doing walling up at the beginning here. That way I can get more buildings out instead of just walls, be it stone or palisade. Because the buildings cover a lot of area, helps you save on money for the walls and such. This is me luring the first boar after getting some cows. I got the lumber camp safe spot down there. Just trying to make sure the view lock works. Yeah, should be good. Sometimes I feel like it's not working. Hopefully the cough is gone. It's been a while since I've done these casted replays because the new patch that came in, I'm not sure what they call it, because we had the big infantry patch earlier this year, the DLC that came in with the Three Kingdoms, a small patch that balanced things a little bit more. And then this is the big one that kind of supposedly approved pathfinding and made it so that the town center and military does not I guess not the word spoil, but make the food inedible or not gatherable for like boar and deer and chickens and hare and things like that. Hares or the rabbits are new on this patch too. Here's a scout coming through, trying to take a look at things, stealing the cows or attempting to. Town centers are also a lot more beefy, so their shots have improved. I think they're bigger, stronger. So that helps for situations like this. I can put my villager in to heal up, fire some arrows, and chase him down with my scout. Way too far away for that boar lore. I just wanted my villagers to have something to do. I could have done that with cows, I guess. But we were focused down on the boar. The boar can get you food much more quickly, so you can age it more quickly. I was really worried about this game here because I had not only messed up the boar, but I forgot to click up to feudal, which was crazy. That like never happens. So I was kind of behind. Right now, just a little bit behind. Poles again, great farm economy, which I don't even think theirs would kick in quite yet. They're probably just doing great scouting at the moment. Because farms you typically want to do in feudal and not dark age. There's the inefficiency of the villagers on that boar, having to go back to grab just a little bit more. Start on the cows, because I've got way too much wood. for those interested, this is just, you know, how low elo play works. And it's unranked, so you just never know what you're gonna get. There must be some kind of internal system still to make it reasonable. Like sometimes I feel like I get destroyed, and other times like I face someone who was brand new. That was my first win the other day. It was his first game. I tried to give him some tips as well. So this is me floating over the 500 food needed to age up and just have not remembered to do that. I don't know why it didn't quite click in for me. Like I was literally walling up there thinking that I was aging up to feudal. This is me also trying to push deer. Pushing deer is one of my least favorite things in this game, so I'm glad that they brought in things like the chickens and the hares. Alright, I just clicked up to feudal to research that. I wanted double barracks this time to start. One, to help me encourage like building more military. I have a hard time building multiple buildings. Command and Conquer background, you don't have to build too many buildings to get them pumping out quickly. Also, the Malians have +1, 2, and 3 pierce armor in feudal castle Imperial Age. So the barracks units can be really good against their biggest counter, which is ranged units. Like archers, skirmishers. That extra pierce armor makes them a little bit better, and it's for free. That's good. Poles. Reason they get that extra food at the beginning is they have something called the full work instead of the mill. That helps them get that going. Here's me trying to catch up on that score. Still behind. Another fun one that the Poles do is their stone miners generate gold in addition to stone, so that can really help for their stone and gold game. And their villages regenerate health, so it's harder for me to pick them off. Alright, pushing in a deer, aged up to feudal. I did beat him on feudal, him or her, so just got ahead on score for that. But we'll kind of see like soon what they're up to since they're not quite aged up yet. But their points were going up quite a bit. So houses, you know, trying to continue that wall with stronger buildings. The secrets of aging up too is you get higher HP on your buildings for free as you age up, as well as your walls. So still trying to get that free food with the animals before doing too much on the farms. Got to get that gold to age up to castle, just 200 though. Too much. Food is 800. Imperial Age is the tough one. You gotta get 1,000 food and 800 gold. But yeah. Alright, just built an archer range as well. Just trying to get ready for it in case I get attacked because I have not quite walled up yet. Not even close. And this is what they've got. Got some militia and a scout cavalry coming in to just poke at me, do some damage. See clearly wide open, so I gotta start getting ready with villagers. I'm trying to build a tower since I've just got the stone still. Villagers fight back automatically in feudal. They will run away automatically in Dark Age. Because my villagers have loom, so a little bit harder to take down. So town center is also firing on them, keeping cover for the tower. Scared away the militia and scout cavalry, so successfully didn't lose any villagers, hoping that their micro of units and economy at the same time isn't as good as, say, Hera. Of course not. So being successfully defending like that can actually be a plus for me if they're not taking care of their economy at home. My score is starting to go up quite a bit more at the moment, still in feudal when he's still dark. Trying to push that deer back in. Someone asked me recently what mod I use for the trees. I forgot to let them know that today. We played a fun Amazon tunnel game. Hopefully we're gonna get another repeat of that to show a replay later. But Andrew, little call out there. Thanks for watching. But that mod is like the same trees mod. I'll have to look at the actual name, but it is different than the tiny tree mods, like I told you, or option, I should say, that the game gives you, because it makes all the trees the same. just helps for consistency. The trees are beautiful in this game, so please don't, for anybody, don't use it if you don't want to. Got that last deer pushed in, getting housed. Whenever I get housed, I try to not only, focus on building a house, but it also helps me get excited to remember to get upgrades. And so I try to research different upgrades as well. So building a house down there, building a house next to the market too, trying to wall up some more, knowing that they're going to play a little bit aggressively. So even though they ran away, probably come back. And was to build walls anyway. Trying stone walls. The game I did, I was Goths versus Britons. Their archer rush came in and they went through the palisade wall so fast. They weren't even the Saracens, who have a +2 for archers. That helps against breaking through those walls a lot. Spirit of the Law does a comparison video for that. So yeah, when that happened with the Britons, I'm like, I just need some sturdier defenses, stone walls, and buildings to really help stop that from occurring. Checking to make sure that the wall is filled or covered for every tile is important. That's why you kind of see the grids a little bit here, and you can test it with villagers and army to see if they can go in or out at any point. And not cheaping out too with palisade gates. I did that on a game that I lost, I think it was last night. Can't remember who I was playing as. Oh, the Maya against the Mongols. Yeah, I got destroyed. So my hope was the stone walls are cheaper with Maya. And at the very back of the base, I did palisade walls when they had cut through the trees. And that's exactly where he had sent his step lancers to break through. So that was a mistake on my part. Not to make again, I hope. Okay, they just reached feudal. Good job, Sal. So that gives them a little more access to more things. Poles, by the way, have bloodlines, and scout cavalry line upgrades cost 50% less food. When they got nerfed years ago when they first came out as a DLC, people knew the poles to be really good, and so they brought down that 10% to 8% food return, which again doesn't sound like much, but it makes a difference, especially for people that notice it. And so they got buffed, as I understood it from Hera today, watching that video, with this Bloodline Scout Cavalry Line upgrades, cost 50% less food. And their full work, I think they added +5 to pop count. Speaking of adding +5 for the houses pop count, I'm using those just watching Hera when you quick wall or whatever it's called, to quick build something like a wall, but in this case a house, which are sturdier than the walls. Palisade stone walls take a bit to build, but could do the same thing. But this is totally keeping out his new men-at-arms, so upgraded militia, and scouts still in there, and just using villagers and getting my guys ready to block them out. Getting some skirmishers, something cheap to throw over the wall. I might switch to archers soon because they're stronger. That house is so close to going down, but I send more villagers to repair it. They don't like getting hit by skirmishers. Bring my scout over to poke at his scout because it's almost dead. Now notice this, so I have him locked on to where the scout is supposed to be attacking their scout, but he's just kind of like bumping up on the men-at-arms, and luckily he hasn't decided to attack, so I have him run ahead of the scout instead and then take it out. So I think pathfinding still has to improve a little bit. Just a little example of that, where the pursuit was kind of pathetic, so I had to manually take care of that, but got his scout for free, didn't lose a single villager, a bit of army, house even, like all that got covered, but good on him for finding that hole. I just barely was able to close it up right before problems happened. So they went back again, probably again, to work on their own economy and figure out how to do a new plan of attack. Getting some stone back, that way it can help for Castle Age, which I'm researching now to get more town centers. Gotta have more town centers for more villagers. So this was a fun, again, low elo, just demonstration of early aggression coming in, trying to block them out, trying to build up. Still looking pretty good on that score, even though they've done a good job with the aggression. They just, as far as I could tell, they didn't get a single villager yet, which is huge for me. Just, again, assuming their micro isn't that great for going back and forth, back and forth. I know I can't. That's why I play defensively. Like, I can't just go out there and start harassing and come back and do stuff. I've done it before with scouts and other crazy Khmer builds. Khmer. Got some military that I had to build just to help counter these things. That's why I did the double barracks and range. Malians have great cavalry as well. Farimba, +5 attack. Their Imperial Age tech makes them incredible. Very helpful for their cavalry gear and heavy camels and light cav. Malians, fun fact, have a complete tech tree, as far as I recall, up through Castle Age. So once you hit Imperial Age, that's where things start dropping off. But I love the variety. So this is me, like, I have it on Auto Scout, but I saw blue, and then I saw an easy grab for a skirmisher. So that for me was easy enough micro to be like, let's take him out, and then come back. And see, this is what happens when you look away even for a second. Tons of men-at-arms, got some archers now, skirmishers, like they came back with full force. My scout taking out an archer, but took a lot of HP out on my scout. Still good to pickups there. Kill count wise, again, like I think he's got nothing, but I'm starting to kill some military, but that's a big horde of guys, and it's about to take up that barracks. So if you rally your troops to the very building that you're producing the units out of, my troops are way out of position, but you can put a flag on the building, and so see there's 2 there. I like literally pointed at the screen, can't see me yet. Maybe someday in the future. But they jump out of the building if the building's about to die. But that way sometimes you can scare off the enemy if they don't know how much you have in a building. In this case, they just wanted to pick up that barracks. They just got some kills. Still no villagers though, so I'm re-walling in the back there. Got another tower out. That's probably what really scared them. And another tower to the north, so lucky on the stone gathering. Again, trying to get ready for those extra town centers, but need to now invest it into some kind of defense. Got a blacksmith in the front researching. Did fletching, probably doing ring archer armor next. And I like to invest in those first. Especially fletching, bodkin arrow, bracer, because it affects your towers. Yep, so bodkin, that's what it was. I guess we are in castles, so that's available now. Each age offers more text that you can look at to research. So he's going super infantry based. Poles have amazing cavalry as well, and a lot more bonuses contributing to that, like the one I mentioned. Schlatzka privileges, Nightline costs 60% less gold. Sorry if I butchered that. Leketic Legacy, gosh, Scout Cavalry line deals trample damage. So again, thinking I was going to build a lot of spearmen, pikemen, but so far just kind of matching his militia line. Not too many troops, but the buildings have done the trick for this early game. Score is still quite a bit ahead. That barracks only cost me 175 wood. Wood is precious to start, but with those stone walls, I hope to save some wood as well, which is not something I realized till recently. It's just kind of a toss-up on what you want to do and what you want to gather, because me gathering stone, I could have used them to gather wood. Another tip Hera gave is whenever you have wood, you want to spend it. Right now I'm floating a bit too much. Big one that you can do it on is farms. To return that, I did way too much in my last game with the Maya. I had thousands of food because I just wanted it real fast, and ended up being way too much. Had to use the market to sell it off, but by that time it was too late. I did. Here's me go for stone still, getting to get a castle. Sal has also entered the castle age. Good job, Blue. Just 400 points away, so it's not terribly different. There's another town center getting there. I guess I should have said I was gathering for town centers first. I want to get that economy going before placing castles to where I don't know where he's going to attack next. Monks out to grab a relic. Grab some gold. Extra gold from that. Again, Malians getting that extra 10% more gold was a big part of why I chose him again. And the 15% less wood on the buildings to help wall up. Particularly in the front. Especially since I knew I wanted to at least do a double barracks, because barracks units are cheap and extra buff with Malian's Pierce armor for free. Kind of tight on my gold pile down there, so I decided to, instead of finagle things, keep the wall strong and just go get the gold outside. Risky, but hoping that the tower there and now town center can help out. Malians also have a great incentive to get out of bounds there and do town centers, because if you research Tigui in Castle Age, again, sorry if I butchered it, town centers fire arrows without garrison. So the town centers don't normally fire unless you garrison people in it. But the Malians have that unique tech that they'll actually fire without anyone in there. So great extra line of defense, especially on the outskirts when you don't see something coming and you don't want to lose a ton of villagers. You can still lose them, but at least you have something to fight back. Got my military up there, knowing that that's more exposed. Monks still going out to grab more relics. In this unranked scenario, you can win by relics, so it's especially good to get at least one so that the enemy doesn't gather all of them to get a relic win. That stone miner wandering out. Again, you get points for scouting. So any of that darkness on the mini-map in the bottom right, you can scout it. I guess I can point with my mouse here. Forgot about that. I'm just kind of like sitting here folding my arms. Yeah, mini-map on the bottom right kind of shows you who I'm selecting, the darkness that I haven't covered yet, the blue that I have. But the fog of war there is only for current viewing. However you call the darker versus the lighter fog. First castle going up there. When you run out of wood, it starts knocking out your farms because it costs 60 each time you replenish that, unless you're Teutons. Okay, big mass of infantry again coming at me. This time they're looking to take down that tower. The militia line, they're really good at taking out buildings, and then they've got quite a bit more range units, crossbows out, which are deadly. I don't have a ton of army still. Tower goes down. Poor scout went down. He served as well. But once he saw the castle, he backed off, even though I've got a small amount of troops. This is where I start building troops again, kind of have to. Hoping that this is walled up, knowing that my villagers can get through, which means that they can get through. Looking to take out that tower. I'm trying to get the monk over to the monastery safely, but you notice it's blocked off. This is where I thought I was in big trouble, because with crossbows and militia line, I think they're long swords in Castle Age now, so they're just men at arms. Beetle. So because I've got lots of villagers, 68 and stone, trying to build a tower behind them. Got some garrison in that tower, they'll fire extra arrows. Here's the town center firing on them too. Got knights to help clear it up. Figured knights would be better than camels or light cav. I don't think I've researched light cav yet, but knights are a good all-purpose cavalry unit. Chunk of change, but that's why we got a good economy, especially the gold floating 2600. Trying to chase the villagers, walking in a castle fire, trying to get that extra tower up, just missed it. At least I distract them for a bit while the knight's trying to get some of them. Knowing that I'm probably going to lose them. Skirmishers aren't a huge threat to a lot of things, except for in mass against infantry, definitely against archers, which I don't have a ton of. I mean, I don't have a ton of units, period. I really thought I was in trouble here. But at least infantry are kind of squishy. That castle having a flag on it just means that I put some villagers or people there to be safe. It's me trying to close the hole again like I did before, but just not fast enough. Too many coming. Tried to scoop them away, lost one villager. Seek shelter button came in last year. Getting into town center, more arrows firing. Onto them. Town center soaking up a lot of damage. I think I attempted the houses again, or town center going down, they'll abandon it automatically. I think trying to mass up guys before sending them out into the barracks was an idea. Getting late. Figured instead of playing one more, I'd just quickly go through this while it's fresh. Instead of waiting like a week or a month or whatever like I did before. I also got a random surge of subscribers today on YouTube, like almost 100, and so it feels like unmerited because I don't know why. I haven't been posting and I didn't get a ton of views anywhere. So if anyone can explain that, that'd be great. Alright, castle going up for some more defense inside here. See the ring of terror right out there. Get more houses and preparing to try to keep that wall going. It looks like we scared them off. So that seems to be their hit and run, coming in, going out. Again, not sure why they're playing super hard into infantry as the poles, though I You understand when you go early attacks and then when you just commit to that. It may make sense. They're just cheaper too, so that can help. The Obuk is the unique unit for the Poles for their infantry that tears away armor as they attack, so it's a pretty cool unit. There's a game of me playing the Poles in a free-for-all. No, it's not a free-for-all, I think it was the same map, so Arabia. It was a 3v3 video, as I recall. Poles versus Slavs were the main event, and my teammate did really well too as the Khmer. Alright, there's my monk still chilling, needing to get back, needing more farms, running out of food, which is crazy, but that's what happens when you build a ton of military. Floating too much gold, just Malians with their good gold mining, so I took some off gold to put them onto wood. Other things, which again, wood, gotta make sure you start getting stuff going. I think I may have even bought some food at this point, noticing it's just way lower than it needed to be. My farmer's also not farming down there because of all the excitement going on being attacked. Well, what else? Malians have a team bonus. Universities work 80% faster. I don't think I've built a university yet because I was planning to just age up with a castle. You need either a university and a monastery, which I have the monastery to age up, or just a castle, plus all the resource requirements that I mentioned earlier. Those new to the video or the channel, I like to just overview the basics. That's kind of my audience, people that don't play or play a little bit, and just kind of want to go over the tips and tricks and basic stuff to help out. It helps me stay fresh on it too. Also gives me something to talk about while we're watching these games. Alright, looks like Imperial Age is being researched. I got 1,000 more points than the opponents. Where I did start losing villagers, they must have just, again, had a hard time doing much with economy back home. If you can nail doing attacks and economy at home, that's what helps you win these games big time. Because I can only really manage playing defensively one thing at a time. And once the economy and Imperial gets going, I start to amass troops further and getting more confident to get out to go. Nice, but yeah, probably lost a ton of games that way. I've lost games to enemies having 3, 4, 5 town centers. So this is me just working on 3. I'll go further if needed with extra resources. Some troops coming out of nowhere, which there's the big horde behind. Tons of skirmishers, which are fluffy, but at least they have the range. They're getting the monk there. Monk goes down. Knights, a little more power to him, but just way too much. Pikemen, which are great against cavalry. So I save the rest of my troops by bringing out those guys to try to stop them. Knowing I can rebuild because I've got tons of food and gold now. Amazing how things shift like that. 40 on food, and it makes that happen. But here they come again, and I got a hole right there where that crossbow went through. Another castle going up to try to help defend. There's that whole clearance house to go there. Bad path there for the monk. The one dies coming out of my monastery. Oh, there's an Obuk in the front. I didn't even know he had an Obuk out. But it looked pretty cool marching on, but good luck with that castle. Ram won't do enough. Castle fire. We both aged the Imperial at the same time. He actually beat me by a couple seconds there. The Beto's running out quick. They're good against infantry siege, as I recall. Quick melee throwers, kind of like the axe throwers, or throwing axemen for the Franks, which Franks just got a big buff for their, I think like a triple buff even for their throwing axemen, which people really liked hearing about that. Betos have pretty low health, so you gotta be careful with those, especially against like archers, cavalry. Where are they now? Another castle going down. I just like map control. You know, you got the stone, spend the stone. I didn't need or want any more stone walls. I thought about walling the north there, but I ended up just playing open and got lucky with him just coming down to my main base over and over. Brown bear going for the villager. Thought I'd get some more gold. Trying to remedy that I've done poorly getting more gold in the past. Fast enough to get all the gold units out, because castle units cost gold. All those scorpions you see on the field cost gold. The knights cost gold. The Poles have that great advantage if they go cavalry to have that 60% less gold, which is ranked by some to be one of the best cavalry bonuses that you can get, or techs you can get, I should say. As I understood it from Hera, and he didn't like this, the Arabia Generations, you can kind of see it on the minimap. Again, forget about my mouse here. But things tend to just really spawn around the center now, instead of on the outskirts. So me building outposts down here, I just kind of want vision to make sure I'm not getting snuck up on somewhere. But in terms of expanding like we did before in Arabia, it doesn't really happen side to side, which you can play a lot more defensively. I know Hera really likes that defense eco before he goes through. He does do super aggressive games too, but... Speaking of aggressive, Blue is back with the Treb this time, going after my beautiful castles. Score-wise, I've got over 2,000 here, so I remember being worried about his Treb pushing, but still feeling like I have some measure of confidence, like a backbone economy to help in case I fall again, unless he sweeps me somewhere. So on one Treb, he's knocking down that castle. I build one in return to fight back. Army to army, knowing that he's got a lot of weak units, but the crossbows really do hurt. Rams to soak up stuff, but they're in the back for both of us. There you go, he's got a good position, but the Gebettos just shred him, because Rams don't deal with melee damage. Low HP, they're still getting hit pretty good. Good crossbow skirmish will work. Scorpions help do some passive damage. Crossbows of my own to fire back. We're both thinning, but I think his are thinning much more. And there goes my castle. Beautiful animation, but there's Gebettos on siege. They really do shred the siege. And so that was a big engagement. Now I've got 4,000 more points. Treb out of position, dies in 2 seconds from a few Gebetto shots. I got some champions out too. This is where I finally run into his base. So I see stone walls, castle, tower. Decide to back up, get more siege out myself. But that was a big engagement. Hills, I think we had similar hill bonuses there. There's kind of like a little dip, little valley there, which I understand they added more of that terrain in here as well. So I gotta do better paying attention to that. But for those who don't know or didn't see my other videos, 25% damage going out, and 25% damage less going in for when you're fighting on a higher elevation, so it's definitely worth it for that 50% swing. Alright, me trying to do the Treb back, but he's got guys to answer for that, so I'm running back, bringing the guys forward. Farimba, Cavalier, yep, coming after him. That +5 attack. As I understood it, like, they come really close to taking out a Paladin even, which is the next upgrade. That's how good that +5 is. There's videos online about that. Mike Empires. I'd recommend Mike Empires for different tests that you can see him run just really quick 1v1s and sometimes bigger battles. Other people do that stuff too. But you gotta get the recent videos for things, because things just changed a lot in these games sometimes. Another engagement, he's trying to send guys out, trying to throw more stuff at me. But now it's just waves of troops, and the big blobs aren't here anymore. Now he's on the defensive. Even though I only got one Treb, it's enough to take out that castle pretty soon here. Range agent myself to kind of take him out. Monks to heal up. His Treb's trying to down mine. There's a trebuchet trick. You can look up T90 where you can hide the trebuchets behind those stone walls, particularly the corner walls, to help defend them. Actually make them invulnerable even, which is crazy, but you gotta look it up to believe it. I could have used that last night as the Maya against the Mongols. I forgot that I could hide the trebuchets behind the stone walls. Corner walls specifically, because they're taller. It actually affects them, which is crazy. This is me trying to repair the trebuchet so I don't lose it in the Treb War. It costs resources to do that. I hear it go down. Yep, we both go down at the same time. This is where I'm like, I'm tired of dealing with slow trebuchets, or I need to build more of them, but I think I research chemistry, which gives you bombard cannon. Another reason why I like the Malians. Bombard cannons are great for sniping enemy trebuchets. Now the score is like almost a 6,000 swing. It's like 5.5, 5.6. At some point I did notice this, and I'm like, he's gotta just not be building a ton of things all at once, or doesn't know that you're supposed to keep building villagers, which is fine. Again, this is an unranked. I thought they did a great job with early pressure, but just didn't get enough of my villagers early on, and now I'm just snowballing. Looking for a good opening, wanting some siege before going in. The ram I have there is kind of just to soak up damage. It's got a tower in defense, nothing crazy. This is me trying to find more minerals, or to minerals like stone or gold resources. But my wood count was low because I was building more siege. I have 47 on wood, and yet I'm still just got 26, 46 wood. When you have 35 on food and they're all farms, that will contribute to that because of the 60 loaded in each time. Unless you're the Teutons with 40% off farms, which is amazing. Alright, got a Treb out, got a Bombard, cannon out. Want to give this another shot. It's like he did what I did yesterday and has a Palisade Gate in the stone mix. Palisade Gates got buffed a little bit, they're still quite a bit weaker than stone. Outposts, trying to see stuff. Lumber camp to get more of that wood back. Food's an awkward one to have too much on with farms, because if you abandon them, then you kind of waste those farms. Sometimes I'll rebalance my economy, but that's a hard one to commit to rebalancing. So I'll use the market sometimes to sell off food at this stage, if I remember to. Yeah, those trebs hurt. Knocking down that tower. Bombard cannon firing at groups. Here comes their next wave. I'm gonna put the Cavalier in the front to soak up some damage, do some damage. Monks trying to get some conversions. Crossbows, Gabettos, just DPS, throwing everything out at them. Both of us got hills. Another enemy Treb out, but I think he realizes after this encounter, just lost everything. Yeah, he's done. GG, WP. That was a good game. Alright, now I'm done sitting in my chair. Okay, got the reveal. So he was working on one town center this whole time. So impressive to be able to keep coming out, but it just snowballs at the end if you don't back up the economy. There's those awesome full works. Got more HP. You're supposed to build them within a clean, like, 9 tile radius or so. Excuse me. To get those benefits, anything outside of it doesn't work for the benefits. Town center, that's more to keep your villagers safe. You don't get the bonuses for the full works around the town center. But cool looking castles, great job, awesome use of terrain and defenses here. Trying to save money, not doing the outskirts as much because it's harder to get around there. Especially I wasn't super mobile anyway, or aggressive. He did have some cows back here that he could have used. Gotta always scout around your base, the extra stuff going. This is again me just trying to secure vision on the outskirts in case there's any sneaky attacks, but nothing for resources. So Hera's right that there's just not anything else on the sides. Like everything is your starting stuff and then a battle for the center. And so it's harder to come back once you kind of take control of the center. But yeah, so that was fun. Finally got a win as the Malians. I had one as the Goss. And then one as... that was against Britons. And I can't remember the other one where he was new. Oh, I think it was the Goss again. Yeah. There's that cool looking university back there. Monastery. 3 relics helping. So way too much res floating, but we were about pop capped out anyway. Alright, to the stats before we end this video. Sorry if it was long. I don't even know. That's the in-game time too. It wasn't an hour because it's 1.7 speed, so it's probably like 40 minutes or so. Alright. It's a good game. He had knocked down more buildings than me. Beat me to Imperial still, it's impressive. Just, yeah, the villager discrepancy is huge. And I didn't even kill any of his villagers. I mean, he got some of mine. So it's just having that massive rebound in case things happen. See, grand percentage of him was army, but then kept losing engagements, running away, or not getting enough, and then me being able to snowball at the end. Good game. That's it for replays. Like I mentioned, all this got killed in between the patch, in between patches, which is fine. But thanks for watching, and bye bye.